Today's topic is array in Java. So I hope all of you already know what is the uh, array in a programming language. So if you want to store the homogeneous type of element in a contiguous memory locations, then the array structure is used. So there you group the elements of a same type. Okay. You can make an array of the primitive data type. You can make an array of the user defined data types. Uh, the difference between the C, C++ array, C++ and Java, in a C and C++, arrays are not an object type. In a Java, when you define an array, is an object type. So here the difference is like how in a C you creating an array normally, like how you create a variable and store the elements, but in a Java this is an object type. That's why the little bit syntax is different. We will see how to create an array and how to store the element inside the array, how to retrieve the data from the array. Before to start, first we again see the types of array. Array are same, a single dimensional, that is a single row. Number of elements are different. Number of elements you can store depends on the size of array. Multi-dimensional array, that is a two-dimensional array, and another you can say it's a ragged array. It's your third type and it is a new for you. Okay, ragged array. So ragged array is new for you, where the number of elements inside each row may differ. So it is also multi-dimensional array, but a special advantage of ragged array, for each row you can differ the number of elements. Okay, so basically a multi-dimensional array means it's an array of array. So in a Java you have a facility that for when you define an array of array, for each individual array the number of elements you can differ. Okay, so that is a ragged array. This is a useful array where the data is number of elements are not same per each row, for the each row. Okay, now look, the first we will see the single dimensional array, how to define a single dimensional array. So this is the integer, the square brackets, the variable name, and is equal to new int. So you are allocating the memory for 5 elements dynamically. So it is object type, right? So it is not like here you are defining size and then you are initializing. So it is integer square bracket ar is equal to new int. So this is the standard syntax for an array. Here another syntax you are having, integer square bracket ar is equal to new int square bracket, and here you are directly storing the elements. Now in this syntax you are not mentioning the size, but you are directly storing the number of elements. So at the time of declaration of array, if you directly initialize the number of elements into the array, the size automatically gets calculated according to the how many number of elements you store. That's why here the size is not given, automatically it gets calculated. So this is the single dimensional array syntax. Now the multi-dimensional array, the integer square bracket arr is equal to new int, the here you are having a size 5 by 5. So it is a your normal how you declare the two-dimensional array, only the you have to initialize here the number of rows and columns dynamically. Okay, so this is a multi-dimensional array syntax. Now the third, that is a ragged. Now this is a new for you, correct? So what is the difference here? Look, in a previous multi-dimensional array the number of rows are 5 and the column size also 5 for each row, right? So this is the difference. But in this case, look, here I am allocating 3 rows, but I am not allocating a size for the each row. So where should I allocate? So here I can allocate array of 0th index. I allocated 2 numbers. For first index I allocated 3 numbers, and for second index I allocated 4 numbers. So for from this ARR zeroth row, that is the first row, I am having two elements. So size of the elements inside the array for each row may differ. That is the difference in your straightforward multidimensional array and racked array. Here the ARR of 1 is your 3 elements and ARR of 2 is your 4 elements. So here if you go, what is a multidimensional array? It's an array of array. Look it is a your basic first variable name, and you are allocating 3 memory locations for that. That is a 3 rows. This is a first row. Again, for first row you are storing another array. Are you getting what I am saying? Another array of 2 elements. This is for second row, it is another array of 3 elements, and this is a third row, it is another array of fourth element. So 2, 3, 4 number of elements in each row is a size of number of elements in each row is different. Okay, this is known as a racked array. You can iterate it because arrays are in the form of objects, and that's why the properties available for array is a length property. So I will show you that. Suppose you want to iterate a multidimensional array, so how you will iterate it? So you have here you have a for loop. It is index. This I is used for the row, and here you are calculating the size of array. Sorry, you are calculating the size of row. So ARR dot length, here it will give you as per the previous example, here it gives you the 3. Yes, because number of rows are 3, and here I plus plus. Then here j is used for a column. Now here I am using the ith index because for each index I want to calculate a length. Yes, because it may be same or it may not be same. That's why I have to calculate it at a runtime. So ARR of I dot length, this gives you each row what is the length of that row. Okay, how many elements inside that row. So it will treat it for the j. It is an assignment for the j, and j is incremented by 1, and then I am printing the SOP statement here, and here the element, whatever element is stored inside this. Okay, so this is how you iterate the multi-dimensional array and the racked array. Length property is used. This is an inbuilt property available for each and every array to calculate the size of the row as well as the column. It depends on the what type of object you used here. Okay, so this is about an array. Now types of loops, and again these types of loops you already know. Only second loop is new for you, that is a for each loop. So for each, while and do while, these loops are available in Java. For and for each, what is the difference between for and for each? For each is not a keyword in Java. For is a keyword, but the syntax for straightforward traditional for loop is different, and for each syntax is different. So what is the syntax for each loop? Okay, look here. Integer I colon ARR. Suppose it is a single dimensional array ARR, and you want to iterate it using a for each loops. Then how you will write a syntax? So for is a keyword, but here I am using integer I. Here colon is used ARR. Here no initialization used, like integer I equal to 0, I less than or equal to array dot length I plus plus. This is traditional for, that is traditional for loop. This is for each loop. So here SOP statement is written and I will print. So how it iterates? So the initialization and the terminating condition is internally calculated in a for each loop. No need to define here. So programmer, don't worry about to define the initialization condition and terminating condition. For in a for each loop, it is automatically calculated. It is automatically considered. Now here, for first iteration, ARR is initialized. ARR first element is initialized to the I, and it will print. Automatically is incremented by 1, and then second element is stored into the I, then it is printed. Like a third element is stored and then printed until the last element will not found. So after last element, this array is now don't have any element. Automatically it will stop and close the loop. So for each loop syntax is very optimized syntax. It is useful syntax. No need to define the initialization and terminating condition. But where to use a for each loop and where not to use a for each loop, that is also important. So where you have a straightforward dynamic objects and the contiguous memory location is available, so there you can use a for each loop. That is advantage. So for each loop you can use for any type of ARR. It may be the user defined objects or it may be the inbuilt objects. So no question about that. Okay. So this is new for you. For each loop is not available in your C++ as also it is not available in your C programming. So here internally how the iterations are calculated. Internally here iterator interface is used to calculate those values. So iterator basically is used to iterate the objects which is available to its next memory location. So that is internally algorithm is available for that, and that's why this syntax works for a Java compiler. Okay. So any doubt related to this, the array and the sorry, and this is your loops. So class array demo, suppose I define an integer, let's say here also you can write the square brackets. So new int, so you want to take it from the user or what? Suppose I will take it from the user. Okay, so suppose size is 5. So if you want to take it from the user, definitely you have to declare a scanner, right? And here you have to use the index. Here I am using the traditional for loop. For printing purpose I will use the for each loop. Okay, so now how you will store an element inside this I, correct, and sc dot next in, right? And please give the message to the user system.out.println. Enter the elements into the AR. Okay. So this is the scanning, and scanner is available in the package util, right? So please import it, otherwise Java compiler will give you error. This is a scanner class. Okay. Now if you want to print the output, okay, then the number of or you can type here so this is your output, and here now I will use the for each loop. For now look the syntax. So you want to iterate an ARR, correct? What is the type of ARR? Is a int. So you want to iterate one by one, that's why you have to define one variable, right? So I am defining like element. Are you getting? And here you just print the value. Plus this element. Save this. This is array demo. Compile and execute. This is array demo. Now it gives me message, enter the elements into the array. So 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50 I suppose I entered. Now check the output. This is output 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50, correct? So this is related to the integer ARR. If it is a string ARR, then you have to go with a string. So string we will see later, because strings are immutable in Java. We have to take a separate session on that. Okay. So I will modify the same code. Look. So I will put this statement here. Suppose I want to define a racked array. So it is a multidimensional array, correct? And here I am defining the size 5, and I am not defining the size of columns, because I have to individually define it, right? So integer I equal to 0, I less than the ARR of length, right? I plus plus. And now for the first index, I assign a new ARR with a size 2, correct? Or you can take here user defined variables, because suppose here I take it size, and the size I have taken it from the sc dot next int. Here give the message to the user, system dot out dot print ln, enter the size here. Okay, so I am defining it. I remove this code. So this is the code to just allocate the memory location for n. Now if you want to take an input, right? So I will take, so you define it. Integer I equal to 0, I less than ARR dot length, I plus plus. So j less than of array of each row, the length of that ARR, and here j plus plus. Okay, and what you have to do, ARR of I into j is equal to sc dot next n, correct? So here I will give a statement, system dot out dot println, enter the elements okay. Now for printing, again same thing, I will use it. So I'm printing one by one. Test it. Now look the code. I will explain this. This is a declaration and object creation for the ragged array. Okay, first I define the number of rows 5. For each row, I have to define the size for the number of elements, correct? So here it is defined as per the user requirement. This is the integer. Okay, and then here I'm taking the value into the error from the user, and here I'm just printing the error. Are you getting? Okay, so now just compile the program. Okay, it is compiled successfully, and array demo, and then enter it. Now look it, enter the size for ARR 0, means first array, right? So I declare 3 elements or 2 elements, 2 elements, okay? Then I declare the second ARR size is number of elements 3, and suppose here I declare as a 4. So 4. Third, next is 2. Next is suppose 5. Okay. So how many elements I have to enter? Now here 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 2 plus 5. 7, 11, 11, 3, 14, 14 plus 2, 16. Correct? Here I have to enter the elements. Look at 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. This is 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4, 0, 5, 0, 6, 0, 7. Look the error. Are you getting the output? Look, first array having 2 elements, second array having 3 elements, third array having 4 elements, again it is having 2 elements, again it is having 5 elements. As per the size, correct? So it is as per the size. Look here, size is given na? 2, 3, 4, 2, 5. Yes? So are you getting? Suppose I try another thing, small error. So here I take only 3 rows and I run the program. CLS. Okay. Now again check the output. Compile again because I changed the source code. Execute. Now first ARR size is suppose 2, then 3, and then suppose a 4. Now check the first element 10 and 20. Now second ARR is 10, 20 and 30, and fourth ARR 10, 20, 30 and 40. Okay. Now check the here 10, 20, 10, 20, 30. So here I entered 0, that's why it is 0. 0, 20, 30, 40. Look, the number of elements inside each row is different. It is a ragged array. Now it is clear to you.